Hello, it's Wednesday and it's just gone 12 o'clock. Sorry for that little interlude there, but our little guest that's waiting in the wings was dancing away quite nicely. So today we are going to be talking with the wonderful Tracy Tate, and we're entitled as Marketing with a Cuppa. And let us know if you're in on the live. Send us any questions that you want and comments so we can get answering them. So marketing is great. But when the chips are down, as I've said before, marketing is the one thing that people don't, or business owners don't see the return on the investment. So they cut the marketing budget, or they cut the marketing person. And when marketing and sales are aligned, then the focus is correct. So how do we go about marketing? We'll be talking to Tracy to get some nuggets up about how she deals with marketing and how she puts this to help people. And we'll be going through lots of things like tea, things like probably Tunnock's tea cakes. And one thing that's very special to Tracy is a little snippet that we played there from a certain boy band, which she adores. So without any further ado, let's get her in. So here she is. Welcome to Tracy Tate.
Hello, hi Stephen. Oh, thank you so much. You know, I thought I would if I got too much of a groove on, I'd put my hip out and then this live wouldn't take place, or if it did, I'd be in a heck of a lot of agony. So thank you so much. One of my favourite songs by my favourite.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't planned. That wasn't planned at all. So marketing with a cuppa, but yes. Before we go into marketing, right, we've got to cover this. And I've been priming Tracy, and she doesn't know what I'm going to do. So I've got to do this. So anyway, right, here we go. 1989. Take that form, right? Oh, when did you first get into them?
It was probably in the early 90s for me.
Okay.
Yeah, early 90s.
And who was your favourite?
Gary
Barlow, the dancer of the band.
Well, that's probably why I liked him as well, because, you know, I mean, I thought I could teach him how to become a good groover, because I quite like a bit of a shuggy, you know, and I thought I could take him under my wing.
So when was the first time you saw them live?
The first time, oh my goodness, live was actually in Sunderland at the football stadium. Mm-hmm. And I waited quite a long time to actually get to see them live, and I was so excited. I can actually remember getting the phone call from a friend to say, we've got tickets, and I was in like a really nice hotel with my husband and my young son at the time, and I just got really, really giddy. And one of the waitresses came over and she said, have you had some good news? I'm like, we've got tickets for Take That. And so she brought over like a hot chocolate to help me celebrate. I was going to
well
see Take That.
I saw them at a Radio 1 roadshow in 1990 in Newquay. And me and my mate had gone down, and we went, said, what are we going to do today? Oh, there's a Radio 1 roadshow, we'll go and have a look. So we went down, it all went, and then it all ended live, and suddenly 5 microphones appeared. And word on the street, all these whispers were going around, it's Take That, it's Take That. Of course, this is this new boy band that's just formed, and they helicoptered them in. So we stayed. We're probably the tallest and oldest people in the crowd, mind you. And I don't know whether they mimed or sang live to It Only Takes a Minute, but that was in 1990. So anyway, right? Take That. I didn't early adopt them, trust me. So then Robbie leaves.
Yes.
95. How did you feel?
Devastated. What really, really made me sad though was when they brought out their greatest hits CD, and they had laid all the images out so that you couldn't actually see Robbie. And I thought that was bitter. That was bitter.
And he wasn't that successful at the start when he left.
No, it was
Till Angels.
It took Angels, because I can remember an article. Oh, right, okay, there's more, right.
So we got to get onto marketing, but we've got to get this out of the way first. Now, Tracy, you would have thought that the world had ended. And all the news channels and all the kids are crying, the teenagers are crying, the women are crying, the mums are crying, probably the dads are crying.
I know.
How did you feel?
I put my big girl pants on. Because I hadn't been wearing them before then, but that's a different chat altogether, Stephen. But no, put my big girl pants on and just thought, right, we're going to have a little take that session. So my flatmate at the time, bless him, he was just as much of a take that fan as me. And so we made the most of it with Baileys.
With Baileys, nice. Not a cup of tea. I mean, I wasn't that upset when the Jam disbanded in 1982. I mean, come on, it's only a boy band.
What did surprise me though was the media reaction, because we'd never, like, sort of, our age, we had never really seen anything like that,
I know.
before. I mean, obviously, the Beatles hysteria we had seen, but it was like, the schools being offered like counselling to the kids and things like that. And you're like thinking, is a boy band, and yeah, you know what, boy music and all the rest of it does mean something to you. But there comes a time when people kind of do, go their own way. So, and then it's okay.
I was too young to remember the Beatles.
Yeah, me too, but it's in your genes.
Anyway, come on, let's crack on.
Yeah, let's do marketing. Sorry.
Hang on, we haven't finished yet.
So, yeah.
10 years later, they're back together as a 4-piece. Wow, what happened with you then? You must have been delighted.
I saw them as a 4-piece as well. So.
Okay, but that wasn't the end of it. 2010, Robbie's back.
And I saw Robbie with them.
So that's good. But he then left.
Yeah. Did he?
So they're back to 4. And then he supported them, I believe. And swore loads because my wife went to see them. And there's loads of little kids in there. Not good, Robbie.
Robbie went through a phase of being like that, yes. Even when he was solo, and I went to see him solo.
So
he did a lot of that.
Then the orange chap left.
I know.
And they're a threesome. So have you seen them as a threesome?
I haven't seen them as a threesome.
No, you're not that big of a Take That fan then. So right, that's more than enough. I'll take that.
Yeah, let's take that and party.
That's more than enough. I'm hoping that this link is working because there's nobody coming in and commenting, because I think there was a wrong link put into the actual event one. So they have to go onto my page or your page and then or my notification. So yeah, but anyway, we'll carry on because people can watch it when it's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
So not to worry.
If you're not here live.
So before we go into that question, we've got a brew. Favorite brew?
Tetley.
I'm Yorkshire.
Tetley tea. Occasionally I do dip into Yorkshire tea as well, but I find that sort of too strong for me. So I'll mix and match. And I actually have been delving into a few herbals as well. Not working now. Thank you.
We've got life. We've got life on the outside. Thank you, Tracy. Thank you.
For letting us know. That's really kind of you. Thank you.
So, dreaded interview question.
So tell me about yourself.
Absolutely, okay. Go for it.
So who am I? Well, I'm Tracy Tate and I'm a marketing coach, and so many business owners really struggle to kind of get their heads around marketing. So I kind of teach them, take them the ways through and debunk all the mysteries of it so that they can get leads and clients from their efforts they put onto their website and also their social media. Now, have I done this for a long time? No, because for many moons before that, I worked for other people and I came to marketing even in my corporate career kind of quite late on. It wasn't my first love. So marketing is like a love that I found later on in life. So that's all good because it's all ended up quite well. I also went through a very early menopause in my early 40s, and that has inspired me to set up another business. And so what I've created is an online course for managers, because I thought, do you know what, if I was a manager still in corporate land or working for someone else, and menopause were happening to my team, I wouldn't know how to best support them. So in essence, what I've done is taken my own experience and the symptoms that I went through, nearly losing my own business as well, to then create this online course. And I've set up a company called the Menopause Training Company. So now I'm juggling lots of things and running two businesses. I am wife to Richard and the mum to a teenager called Michael, both avid cyclists. And do I do it? No, I put the dirty kit in the washing machine and get the orders for the bike spares and the kit and all the rest of it when it comes to the door. And that's my interest in biking. Also, a lot of homegrown vegetables and really getting passionate about that as well. I like tea. And also, normally it'd be a tonics tea cake, but I thought it'd be controversial.
Go for it.
Shortbread with chocolate chips. What do we think about that?
I'd give it a thumbs up. Do you dunk it or not?
But nobody's looking, because you never know where it's all going to go. You don't want it to go around down your nice t-shirt when you're doing a live with Stephen, do you?
I like a millionaire's shortbread.
Yeah, chocolate digestive. Tonics tea cake, dunk them, that's the only thing.
Chocolate digestives and hobnobs are the dunkers of this world, aren't they?
Yeah, Peter Kay sketch, that basically just sums up what you need to know about Dunkin' Business.
Brilliant. Don't do rich tea.
No. So that's pretty much me in a nutshell.
What's been your journey then on LinkedIn? How do you...
Oh God, I was such a loiterer for such a long time. Part of my sort of unfurling into becoming the business owner that I am now, a lot of the what was going on for me was kind of like imposter syndrome, and LinkedIn was that professional, website platform, and it was kind of like, was it really just for recruitment? But then I was seeing other people talking about their business and getting clients from it. So I loitered with intent and lurked for quite a while. And then after a while I thought, right, I need to get into this, because I can see that my ideal clients are hanging out on here and there's conversations that I could easily be part of. And so I kind of threw myself into LinkedIn. And I will be honest with you, Stephen, as well, though, but then I kind of sort of fell out of love with it, came back again. And at the moment, I haven't been as busy as I would normally have been due to, holidays, and also looking at the Menopause Training Company as well. But as a platform, I quite, enjoy the group of people that I've met, through it. So at the moment, I'm not as busy as such, but my journey has been loitering, going in and working well for me as a business owner to get clients as well. So it's a good platform if you know that your client and your audience is on there and you're willing to share what you know and engage, with other people and be chatty and be informative. Then I think it's a good platform to be on.
So what got you into marketing then?
A random telephone call is the honest answer. I was a temp, and the temping job that was coming up was due to finish. So you got the phone call, before your contract ended, and there was two potential jobs. One was for a 2-week stint for a company. One was for as long as I wanted it in a finance department. Now, I'm not a numbers person, but I thought if it's long term, I'd have to flip. And the training was going to be there. So I went along, and it was for a company called Nike. So I went in and I completely revamped how they did their finance, the expenses, because I was processing all the expenses for the sales guys and everybody like that. Then when I was there was a job came up in the retail marketing department, like admin, organising, things to be delivered to shops and bringing things over from the head office. Went for that. Again, completely transformed how they did things, all their systems, and kind of got into this marketing thing. And so I worked my way up in Nike and eventually became a marketing manager for the UK and Ireland, promoting women's product within the retail environments and the accounts that we had. So I also did a degree within marketing and finance when I was at Nike full time as well. And so it was one of those things in life that marketing was never on the cards. But that telephone call, and I can still remember where I was standing, and my thought process, and that phone call that basically got me into marketing.
Cool. So what are the most common mistakes that people and businesses make then in marketing, and how do you avoid them?
Well, what I see a lot of business owners do is they'll come and say, my marketing's not working. It's like, it's crashing and burning. It's not getting this. It's not getting leads. It's not getting clients. What they're not doing is looking at their marketing is actually helping them to achieve the goals and the objectives that the business as a whole is actually after. So they'll sort of see marketing as like just stuck on its own. And so they'll put that out there and go, it's not working, but what were the results that you wanted to achieve for your marketing in line with your business as well? And so it's a case of sitting down, cup of tea, chocolate digestive is optional, and actually thinking about your business, what you want it to look like, and putting, sort of targets, objectives, goals, and aims in place, and then getting marketing to help you achieve that. And what I see with marketing as well is a lot of people thinking that everyone and anyone will want their product. So rather than sitting down and going, so who is the person? How can I have a conversation with that person, that group of people that are going to be the perfect fit for my business, my product, my service? And so they end up putting marketing out that's more scattergun in the hope to God that something will stick. And then if they do put marketing out, it's so easy just to keep repeating it and hoping that something will work. And again, I'm a fan of a cup of tea and a biscuit. Sit down with a cup of tea and review what's working, what isn't, what needs to change, what needs to tweak, who else do we need to talk about, to talk with, to review what is going on. And for small business owners as well, I experienced this myself, they let themselves get in the way of being a business owner. And I think after the excitement of I'm going to work for myself, or I'm going to set up a business, and whether you have a team or not, and you're like, it's just, I'm going to, I can watch Home Under the Hammer, and I'm going to have this endless flow of leads and clients and loads of money and loads of time. And then if it doesn't happen, there's that, oh, I'm a failure, I'm a this, I'm a that.
Well, a lot of that stems from a lot of startups, SMEs, and that they know where they want to go, but they don't necessarily know how to get there. So they don't formulate a strategy.
Yeah, exactly.
And the business plan, the strategy is the way, including the sales, the marketing, logistics, etc., competition, finances, etc. And that bit's overlooked because it's, well, I've got this, I'll run with it, and that's great. Try it, try it, come back to it, look at it, but review it. And that to me is the problem with small businesses sometimes.
Yeah,
they don't have the strategy to incorporate marketing as such.
And it's all the pieces of the puzzle. And I also see as well, and I've worked with businesses of varying sizes, that they wait too long to ask for help. And again, a lot of kind of what I see in my own clients is myself as well, because I came from corporate land, and I had, great results and success and put forward for awards and all that kind of really good stuff. And I was an action taker and all the rest of it. And then when I did, go to start my own business, I thought, how the hell can I not work this out? I'm not stupid. I've been in marketing, I've been in businesses, I've done strategies. But when I actually came to my own business, and then the thought of asking for help or to admit, it's like when you say to someone, how are you doing? Oh, great. I'm busy. But you're actually busy spinning your wheels and burning yourself out without actually getting, the results that you want from your business in the first place.
Busy fools.
Yeah, and so so I see it so often, like people like waiting until it's really a tricky point to to kind of put their hand up and ask for help. You've got to, invest in your business, because if you're asking people to invest in what you are offering, whether it's a product or a service, you need to kind of think about that yourself, invest in yourself as a business owner.
So what's the one thing then that you could pass on to people watching this? What's the one sort of top tip about marketing?
About marketing, the way that I think about marketing is it's a conversation. And a lot of people will come to me and say, do you know, if I get on a call with someone, whether it's a telephone or video, and I get to talk with them, I can, it's fine, I can get like the conversions. But it's actually like using your marketing, not to kind of broadcast everything that you do, but see marketing as that conversation. So thinking about content that's going to answer the questions to the problems that they have. So that's like enabling them how to do something, why something isn't working, and what you can do to put it right. So to be seen, to be useful and helpful, just like you would a conversation with someone. So if you and I were on a call and you're going, Trace, I'm really kind of, struggling to get my daffodils looking good, and I was into gardening, and I would tell you how. And then the next thing, if they're like thinking about, so who have you kind of helped before in doing this, or curious then? And then again, in a conversation, you would then tell them about previous clients that you had worked with. So again, your case studies, your testimonials are helpful. And then it's again, so your product or service, tell me more about it. So it's thinking about all the questions that they would potentially have about your product or your service. Now, price is a really common one, isn't it? It's like, so why do you charge what you do? Or how much is it going to cost me? How long is it going to take me to get, results? Why could I not be a fit for you? And so basically you're taking the conversation that you would have with a real live person online, so that when they visit your website, look at your social media posts or your blogs or your lead magnets, it's all around what they are asking their questions about.
So there's quite a lot of noise out there.
There is.
In the world of social media and marketing and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And a lot of people are okay talking to people, like me and you are having a nice little conversation now. But a lot of people struggle to get over that. They know they can do it, but they don't get over the obstacle of actually getting that online conversation in the first place. So how do you go about that?
So just think about who your ideal client is. Now, what I do, I've got this. Now, this is who I talk to. This is my little Highland cow. This is my ideal client. This is Sylvie. So when I have those obstacles of thinking, I don't know what to say, I don't know how to do it, then all I do is like think, so what does Sylvie need and want to know today? And then I create content for Sylvie as she sits on my little shelf. And I do it as if her and I are actually having that conversation. Now, if you are struggling, there's something happens in our brains when we go to type our content. So if you're the person that's kind of struggling to say, like, I really want to get this over as a conversation in my personality and the way that I would say things, then what you can do is record, yourself answering that, that question, and then you can transcribe it, put it into a video, or give them that audio as well. And just think about one person at a time. And I know some people freak out about posting things online. And as you say, oh my God, it's so noisy. I could post this and no one's going to hear it, and I'm going to get tumbleweed and all that kind of really horrible stuff. Turn it into a positive and think about that one person that your content, that your business, that your service can actually help today. So when I was having my imposter syndrome, when I was venturing into the world of promoting my own business, I just had a little post-it that said, who can I help today? And that was my focus, to help me get over that noisy online world. I'm talking to one person at a time.
So there's a lot of platforms in the world of social media that businesses can use. So how should you portray yourself?
As you, and be the same. I think when I again, let's get going back to like the LinkedIn and me kind of hanging fire. and believing that I had to be this professional because it was a professional platform. But meanwhile, over on Twitter and when I was on Facebook, what you saw was what you got in the posts. This Scottish gobshite that drinks tea and just likes to help people as much as she can to make sense of this marketing malarkey. And so when I went onto like LinkedIn, and so I was like using, the proper marketing words, because I thought people aren't going to think I'm a proper marketing person if I don't use proper marketing words. But the person that I was trying to help and connect with, my ideal client, didn't have a bloody clue what the marketing mix was, what a lead magnet necessarily is, how to automate this. And so when I realized if I just put it into plain, simple language, that's going to bubble up and reach the right people, because they're going to resonate with the way that I'm talking and the way that I'm sounding.
So is there a secret then to getting results?
To getting results, know what results you want in the first place and why you want them. Because it's so easy for people to say, right, well, I want my business to be successful. We've all fallen foul to that.
So how do you go about then generating leads on the media platform, say on LinkedIn, for example?
Yeah, so on LinkedIn, what works well for me is having my profile, a good sound profile that explains who I help, how I help. And also within that profile, there is the opportunity to sign up for, one of my lead magnets, which is like my fab freebie. You sign up for it, and then it lands in your emails, and then I follow up with some useful and helpful extra advice for you. And then ultimately I offer my sort of services. But then what it is like turning up to be useful and helpful, so giving that information that people are there, but then also letting them know that you're available. Because that's another thing I see so many business owners doing, is it's like, I'll give value. But then they never actually sort of say, well, do you know what, you can actually work, with me, and this is how we can do it. And I think you posted the other day, a fab post that kind of fits in with everything else that you do as well, about how and why you should be considered to help an organization with recruitment. So, and that's not overly salesy, because you've posted lots of value at times as well. But also, if you're looking to get your results, have a blooming plan in place. Because again, it kind of goes back to what I said. It's like, know what results that you want and why. There's no point in saying to yourself, well, if I could get 22 likes today, I'd be really, really happy.
Does that win you business?
No, that's the thing, isn't it? And
No,
it's like, how many leads do you want to be able to then convert them into clients? How many clients do you need to make the money that you need to keep a roof over your head, put on the table, your business going? So is there a secret? I think it's knowing what results that you want, and then it's like turning up, but having a marketing plan that is then going to help you have those results. So it's sharing that valuable information to get eyeballs on your business, and then the content and that keeps the conversation going and lets them see that you're available to work with as and when they're ready.
So there's quite a few people on platforms selling, whether it's a LinkedIn profile or coaching or CVs or whatever it might be. What makes you stand out then from all these other marketing gurus?
Oh, well, for a start, I would never, ever describe myself as a marketing guru. So this is something that I always find personally really difficult to answer. So what I always do is look at the feedback that I get from clients or people that I've helped. So what makes me stand out is basically there's only me doing me, and if I'm the kind of person that you want to work with to help with your marketing, then I'm the gal for you, because no one else can do me or drink as much tea as I can probably.
I'll give you a good run for your money.
I know, 12 cups later, eh? So when it comes to like sort of standing out, the feedback that I get from my clients is that I always like spend time listening to them, what's going on for their business, how what they're personally like struggling with, and how they word things as well, because then that helps me to fall in line to help them, because there's no point in me like going, right, well, so our first session together, this is what you're going to get if it doesn't fit or align with where they even are or what their level of understanding is. So I listen. I try and make it fun. I try and keep the language as simple as I possibly can. I give them examples so that they can relate to it, because people learn, differently. Some people like to see things, some people like to hear things, some people like to print things off and touch things. So I'm aware of, I listen to how their learning styles work. So yeah, I think that's my honest as I can give you answer. But I would never consider myself a marketing guru. I'm just this like Scottish
Of course you are.
T-shirt. Loves a cup of tea.
And a tonics tea cake.
Oh yes.
So sales and marketing then,
Yeah,
for me, are highly important. And do they go together? Should they go together in your marketing mix?
Yeah, absolutely. And I've even got experiences of when it went really badly wrong and when when it went brilliantly right. When I worked for like a certain organization, what the marketing team would do, we would present to our sales team, so we would stand there and say, right, so for this quarter, this is what we're going to do. These are the products that we're going to be promoting this quarter, and every single one of our accounts is going to get exactly the same. And the sales guys would weep, would literally weep, because they knew that their accounts were all different. They had different needs, they had different wants, they had different clients. And so the organization that I worked for had a broad array of products. They didn't sit down and go, right, so that line of products would work best in that organization, that line of product would work best. And so what would happen was sales and marketing would be like this all the time. So we would ask sales for figures. They go, well, the shit, excuse my French, what do you expect? Because you're making us promote, you're doing promotions that aren't right for that organization. For a while, I worked in the semiconductor industry. So that was very techie, physics. Don't ask me really what they all did, but wonderful industry. And I learned a lot. The sales was aligned with the marketing. So I was the marketing person. The sales team was quite small, but we would sit down and we would look at how they did the marketing, how they would do their sales, because they knew it was events that they went to. It was overseas sales. And again, each country had a different culture. They had a different need requirement. So we would sit down and go, okay, well, we've got this brochure. That ain't going to work for everybody. And so we would make sure that the level of information was right. You would have people new coming into the market. So sales would say, these are all the questions that we're getting asked. What can you give us? Yeah. And it's the same even if you work for yourself. You are sales and you are marketing. So if you're going, well, how do I align my sales? How do I align my marketing? Look in your inbox, because in your inbox, all those questions that come in from potential clients or current clients, it's information that you could consider seriously creating and putting that out into the market. Because if they're asking that question, it's information that they're after, and that's information that's going to help you actually be considered to get a sale at the end.
Absolutely.
So marketing, bring them together. They're a marriage made in heaven when it works. It's the best thing. It's the best thing.
Segment your marketplace. Yeah. Look at your products or services. Who is your ideal customer? What ideal industry? You can find all those customers and you can put a plan together. That's the short snippet of it. Yeah, together to actually go for these people. And it's not difficult, but so many salespeople and marketing people are not aligned. So
I think it's like territory, isn't it? It's that territorial thing, sales and marketing.
So when I first sort of connected with yourself and we started talking, the one thing when I looked on your profile, because I think you'd commented on something or something came up in the feed, I can't remember what it was. So we sort of got talking, and being a sales person that I am, the sales professional, what mistakes are being made then when people are trying to be too salesy?
Yeah, they're not actually understanding what their audience wants. I think, gone have the day when, we would get the guy knocking on the door wanting to sell us like dusters. Mark Schaefer in his book Market and Rebellion, he basically said, the power, the control has flipped. It is now over to the audience, to your potential client. And they're so used to being able to get the information, what they want and what they need to know online within like a few tippy taps, a few swipes, a few questions, whatever. And so when people are being like far too salesy and it's so blatantly obvious, then that's kind of giving themselves like a really bad rep. And people now can spot it a mile off. And if they don't spot it instantly, like they spot it really quickly. They're looking for people who are given value, information, who are approachable, who, are quite willing to help them, make their decision. And so, using a marketing term, your buyer's journey, if you're going to like welcome them in with open arms, like early doors, by giving them that useful, helpful information, if they're not really sure what their problem is, but your information is so helpful, it helps to guide them understand what their problem is and what their solution is, so that they can then go and dive a little bit deeper. The minute you kind of go in with that sales thing, you're going to back right, back away. And people talk, so if somebody says, oh, I'm looking for a new Hoover or whatever it might be, it's like, oh, for goodness sake, don't even use their chatbot, because straight away it's salesy. And I actually had a personal example of this just last week. And again, chatbots are marketing. They were there to help. And hubby and I, buying a new fridge, our fridge is on its way out, went in the chatbot. We'd seen one that we liked. It was out of stock, so we wanted to know when it would come back in stock next. That was all we wanted to know, when it was available. And so we put in the usual information, postcode, all that, so they could kind of know. And I'll check that for you, which is what the bot came back with. We're going, oh, this is lovely, thanks very much. We're sitting here, cup of tea. The next thing, we also offer these following services. We also offer these warranties at this much. And I'm thinking, all we want to know is when it's going to be back in stock, so we can consider what's what. And I just said, no, thank you, just the availability. And they kept coming back. And while they were checking on availability for this particular product, we then got asked if we wanted to buy a coffee machine. I'm a tea drinker, for goodness sake, I can't tell you. And, they had just recently bought it for their mum's birthday, the previous week. That wasn't a nice experience, because I felt I was being backed into a corner. If they just give me the information that I wanted, and being useful and helpful, then that organisation would have stood a chance of not necessarily getting the order for that product, but for another product, because they didn't come back. It wasn't going to be available for 6 weeks. They didn't then come back with a suitable product, or let's look at your requirements and see if you have something in stock. We're trying to sell me coffee machines, and then they tried to back me into a corner to look at, do you want your old machine taken away? That's 20 quid.
Greatest bit of brand marketing you mentioned, which is Hoover, because it's a vacuum cleaner. But nobody says, oh, I'm going to vacuum clean the house. I'm going to Hoover the house. And also the worst bit of marketing, by giving away holidays. And they almost went bust, I think.
Yeah.
Wow. So what advice then would you give somebody, if there's somebody on the call or watches it later as a recording, what one bit of advice you would give them if they were looking to get into marketing?
To do their own marketing, to up it, to get better results on the marketing that they're doing at the moment. Okay. Yeah. What I would ask them to do is really, really go back to basics. And I know sometimes when you're feeling really frustrated as a business owner, that it feels like nothing's working, no one's listening to you, is to kind of take that step back. And it might feel that it's not necessarily time that you have or that you want to give, but go back to your business goals, your business objectives. Really kind of think about them. Even like the time that you are able to spend with clients versus the time of marketing. What can you outsource? What do you honestly, hand on heart, need help with improving? And do look at that as well.
Okay.
If anybody's thinking about getting into marketing as a career, my niece, bless her, has just completed a degree at Heriot-Watt University in Edinburgh, done her dissertation, and so she's looking for marketing jobs. But what she has done is she's present on LinkedIn, she's engaging on LinkedIn, and so she's kind of doing the right things and making the right noises. But also there are lots of really good books out there. For me, that I always knew that marketing, I wanted it to be a conversation because I am a chatty bird. I'm not sure if anybody's going to notice this watching the video.
Probably not. No.
But I am chatty, and so I always knew that marketing is great when you think of it as a conversation and being really useful and really helpful. And the book that really kind of helped me condense all that and really focus that is a book called by Marcus Sheridan, and it's They Ask and You Answer. And that honestly, that really kind of helps you to think about how to make your marketing a conversation, but also to think differently about your audience and what marketing really is when it comes down to it, whether it's online, whether it's offline, whatever kind of marketing helps you to think that.
Because you have two of these and one of these.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Chris reckons she drinks a lot of tea.
Chris, I know you drink a lot of tea, my darling. You and I have drunk lots of tea together.
Right. So those are the marketing questions out of the way now. So other than Take That, who is your favourite band or artist, past or present?
Oh my goodness, I have been listening to a lot of George Ezra lately. Summer. Okay. I can tell by your face you're going, really, why? Was that not the coolest answer that you were expecting me to get?
Is it really? Okay. The Budapest chappy.
Yeah, and because it's like nice to work to. I kind of quite like that. But I've also got like a playlist that is so mixed. Just like a song that I've maybe heard on the radio, go into Spotify, I'll have a bit of that. Can I tell you the name of the band? Nah. Cannot tell you the name of the band, but I know the name of the song and I know that I love it. And I know that if I've got some social media posts to write, that they will accompany me and they will give me, the groove and the mode.
Yeah, we tried to play Budapest in our band. It's not really our genre, but it didn't really work. So moving on. So if there was one band that you would have loved to have seen that you never got around to doing, who would it have been? Queen. Nice.
That, yes, I would have loved to have seen Freddie.
Yeah, he was absolute superb.
Yeah.
So what's your favourite Monster Munch flavour?
Pickled onion, but it goes on a sandwich with cheese and a little bit of salad cream.
Oh, you're a star. You're a star, Tracy. Love it.
Cox is being like the biggest minger who's on LinkedIn.
Right. Favourite food you like to cook?
At the moment, cooking an awful lot of veggie because we're growing an awful lot of vegetables in our garden, homegrown. Oh my God, it's amazing. We're really lucky. Richard's mum and dad live in the same little village as us, and they have a very big garden. They have been growing their own veg for years. So they are giving us a lot of produce, some produce that they don't like. So at the weekend, they gave me a courgette and I made courgette fritters.
All right, okay.
God, they were amazing. It was honestly.
Stuffed courgettes are good. Stuffed courgettes.
Yeah, well, they were like saying about the flowers as well. And I said, oh, you can do stuff for them. It's a bit Master Chef, isn't it? Kind of.
It is a bit. You'll be spraying dry ice on it next. So
Oh God, no.
Favorite city in the world and why?
Edinburgh. It's
Nice
pretty
city.
much where
Nice city, yeah.
I lived just outside of Edinburgh. I worked in the centre of Edinburgh. So when I took my lunch break, when I worked in the civil service at 17, 18 years old, similar age to my son at the moment, and popped to Marks and Spencer's for my sandwich, I got to sit in Princes Street Gardens and have my lunch looking up at the castle. And I also got to hear lots and lots of very interesting conversations from tourists about the castle and everything. And I can remember being on a bus and there were two lovely American women in awe of Edinburgh, quite rightly, because it's a wonderful, wonderful place to be. And they questioned if the castle was only put up during the festival in Edinburgh.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, do you know what? We should sell Americans a bridge.
Yeah, we should.
Sorry, Americans.
On the bus, and I thought, oh, bless them. But then on the token, there were so many other, people who just fell in love with it.
It's a great city. Many a happier time spent up in Edinburgh.
Such a wonderful.
So if you could have only 3 guests at a dinner party, who would they be and why? Dead or alive?
Right. Well, Gary Barlow, because he could sing. He could sing to us. But do you know what? Then, because he's alive, he could help clearing up and putting the dishes in the dishwasher.
But they can, just because they're dead, they're still alive at your dinner party.
Yeah. Well, he could, and I think as well, it kind of ground him as well, and also as well, while we were clearing up, I could throw him some dance shapes that he could just
could,
move on rather than just getting past the dad dancing. A comedian who I had promised myself that I would go and see once all this COVID thing had sorted itself out, but sadly we lost him, Sean Locke.
Oh, amazing guy. So funny.
I so wanted to see him, and I can remember a few years ago finding out that he was at an event in Durham, but it was actually on the day of the event and all the tickets had sold out, and I kicked myself because I just cannot think of Sean Locke without smiling, laughing, really properly laughing.
So sad.
Very genius guy. So Sean, you'd be there, and Gary Barlow would be tidying up your plates. And the author of a book that I read a good few years on holiday that set me on the journey that kind of pushed me to get out of my comfort zone, to really think about becoming that business owner that I always wanted to be when I was 26 and believed at 26 I was way too old. A wonderful woman called Susan Jeffers, who wrote Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. And it was reading her book on a lounger in Mallorca that I said to my hubby, nah, things are going to change. And bless, he was like so supportive, is so supportive. Well, Susan says, do it. So that would be my 3 guests: Gary Barlow, because he could sing, help us tidy up, and I'd give him a few dancing lessons, because to be fair, the wonderful Sean Locke, may he rest in peace, and Susan Jeffers, who wrote the book that pretty much changed my life. And I'm sorry, guys, but she's the reason I'm here talking to you today.
That's good. So time is now up. So that went quite quickly. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you so much. And if anybody has any questions that they feel that kind of putting them out there, live for other people to see, I can totally understand that. I've been there, so feel free to just get in touch with me.
Absolutely.
And I can help in any way that I can. And I know Stephen will help as well, because he's one amazeballs human being. And yes, he has paid me to say that. 20
No,
pence.
I haven't. Don't lie.
To my account right now. 20 pence.
It's so expensive.
I know. I can't help. I'm not a cheap date.
Right. So yeah, anybody out there who's watching this now or later on, then connect with me. Connect with Tracy. Tracy's a wonderful person and really good to talk to and get to know. And you'll always have a cuppa with her. Always. Mine's probably got cold now, to be fair.
Yeah, it's lukewarm. It's lukewarm. But
so anyway, that's it. Thank you everybody for coming on. I think there might have been a glitch, because normally there'd be a few more people than that. But
technology.
Next time, absolutely. But anyway, thanks Tracy. Really enjoyed it.
Stephen.
You take care. Enjoy your day. Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.